Alrighty. Well, hello, my name's Ted Rainey. I work for Green Tech Renewables. I am the regional design lead over in the Western market, so California, Nevada, Arizona, etc. Wanted to go ahead and get things started off. Welcome everybody. Very excited. Um, gonna definitely have a lot of great info here for you with the Franklin product. Um, just in case if you need any assistance, there's handouts. We'll have a Q&A session towards the end. I will also be able to assist if there's any questions on my end. But then we got Doug and Justin here too. And then you also get a recording of the event for future reference. Always great to have a recording. And yeah, so just want to kind of say out there, if you didn't know already, we do offer design services at Green Tech. Kind of want to be your one-stop shop. We're a nationwide engineering tech sales network for, custom, residential, commercial, utility scale, you name it. We've seen it, probably have done it. Green Tech renewable accounts have 24/7 access to our team. We range from carports, batteries, HOAs, PPAs, military utilities, Tony and Nicole, and we're here to support your next project. And we've been around for quite a while. We are devoted to innovating solutions for our customers that will drive feasibility and profit while offering the highest level of customer service and professionalism and integrity. We're local nationwide with over 100 locations throughout the area. Our Green Tech locations offer extensive on-site inventory, comprehensive services beyond supply, including finance, design, engineering service. Our core values are service, integrity, and reliability. Hope to see if we got any interest there. But I'll go ahead and hand things off to Franklin.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. My name is Justin Hopkins. I'm a Senior Director of Strategic Accounts here at Franklin. And we're excited to be talking to you guys today. Doug, you want to introduce yourself before we drive into this thing?
Cool. Good to meet everybody. My name is Doug Emerhano. I may have met some of you across the country in various trade shows. I'm a product manager on the pre-sales support side, but basically here to support you with anything you got.
Awesome. Yeah, so exciting times, right, in the industry. We're all turning into really good ballet dancers as we navigate these kind of minds that are existing in the industry. But we've seen a lot of different products enter the market. We've seen some smoke bomb products where there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, but maybe it's not come to full fruition yet. And so we're here to help you discern kind of what's the value proposition with Franklin. Where do we really stand out as a best-in-class AC coupled option? And what are some of the new things coming down the pipe as far as new features and things that are available? So for those of you that are new to the product, we'll do kind of a brief recap of the basics and before we get into some of this new stuff. I know Doug and the product team have been working incredibly hard to give you guys something that is truly unique in its design and simple in its innovation, right? So our UX, our customer is you, the installer. We've always focused on that from the beginning. We're not trying to go to direct to consumers. We're trying to prop this industry up and support you guys. So when we design this product, your feedback is appreciated. Your input, your constant involvement really makes you guys partners. This is your energy management product, right? It's everything we've done on your behalf. So hopefully you guys like these new changes, and we'll be pumped. But for those of you that don't know us, we are Franklin Whole Home. That's what the WH stands for. We're headquartered in San Jose, California, and then have a lab in Milpitas. From a financial standpoint, I know we've kind of come on hard and fast, and it's like, where did these guys come from? We were very well funded by Sequoia Capital early on, and it allowed us to really enter this market with an incredible financial partner over the last couple of years as we've been able to kind of carve out our market share. They've remained as a participating partner. But, last year we did end of the year profitable, which is wild considering that I think our balance sheet was about $17,000 2.5 years ago. So to see where we've come from to this day is really exciting. And it really is a testament to this industry that we support. you guys as we navigate these big changes across the country. So a product is bankable. We are on a number of AVLs and we'll continue to be on those as new products emerge. If you have any questions on what TPO products you're using and are we on them, feel free to reach out. We should be batting close to 1,000% within the next like 60 days. So if you do have a product that you like using that we're not on the AVL, please reach out to us directly and we'll go to work for you. As far as supply chain, there's a lot of LFP, there's a lot of NMC, there's just a lot of battery cells out there right now. Kind of like going to buy bottled water at the store, right? Like it doesn't have a fancy label. Maybe these guys have a great source, right? Like Topo Chico, it's always delicious. You know what you can count on. But for us, the source is really important, right? Our battery cells were hand selected by us. We've tested dozens and dozens of different products, and currently we are using the best possible cell that we can procure on the planet for our product. These are EV grade LFP prismatic cells, and we'll talk a little bit about why we're using LFP in chemistry, but for the most part, we do have a long-term supply chain agreement. No issues there on supply, and we've been scaling really nicely. And a lot of that is our company is 70% of our staffing is based on research and development, right? So you've got well over 100 people in the back of a room, almost 200 folks, blowing things up, trying to push the limit on what these batteries are capable of. And that's why our innovation, we don't wait a half a decade to bring new products on, right? Our innovation comes quarterly, if not every year, with something new to help make your job easier. So getting on the Franklin wagon now, always a good call. So yeah, it's been a heck of a year. Got some love from Time Magazine. This is not a paid placement. I know we just assumed that if you see a manufacturer on a magazine that they'd paid a good deal of money. Yes, Randall, these are CSA and UL and ULC. We'll talk about all those approvals shortly. But yeah, the product itself is being recognized by both publications, tech firms, Fortune 500 companies as a premier product, right? As the best in class AC coupled battery on the market. Over the last year in Energy Stage, we were quoted in over 11% of every proposal that was presented on that platform. So to give that perspective, we have well over 10,000 batteries deployed and functioning, and we've really only ever ARA made baker's dozen. So we really stand by our product and our service that supports that. We see our service as part of the product, right? So people, they use Franklin because they know if they do have a problem, there's somebody they can talk to. If they need to get something replaced, that we're going to step out. I often hear from my service guys, hey, will you let this installer know that we're going to fix their mistake over at this project, right? We'll be at that house at this time. And it's a common thing, right? Our goal is the same as yours. The customer experience to be incredible when getting batteries. You only lose power so many times. So for them to realize the value of what they're investing in, it needs to work and needs to work seamlessly. So, you guys know what's going on. We'll call out the elephant in the room. Tesla has released a new product, and it is a cost down nightmare or a cost down dream, depending on who you are and what you like and what kind of products you prefer to use. I've been doing solar since 2008. And back in my day, we called the inverter a single point of failure, not a single point of repair. And so this is the point of AC coupled redundancy, right? So what we've always believed in as many points as you can have, keep this system working, right? As many power sources as you can bring to the table. I joke we could put Doug on a gerbil wheel in the corner. If he can run fast enough to generate 240 volt, we'll take it, right? We want to be adaptable. We're not trying to create an ecosystem. Rather, we're trying to increase the lifetime value, the LTV of the customers that you spend so much money and time acquiring, right? We want to give you a chance to differentiate, to bring something to these homeowners that 20 other people can't go sell them, right? Where you guys are fighting over pennies and your business is commoditized. So how are you going to differentiate your business from customers, right? How do you keep from being a fulfillment office and keep your brand, right? Do you want to be just a back-end store on Amazon where people can click a button and get the product? Or are you trying to do more with your business, right? 14 years of AC innovation. There's a reason we've been going this direction. It's great to save money, right? It's great to get a little bit more power out of the panels. For a long time, SunPower off of thousands of dollars of margin, right? Off of a couple extra percent of efficiency. So we want to give you guys a chance, a real product that can differentiate, allow you to create that same value and differentiation in the market. So we're here to prop up the industry. We're going to level up the support, make sure your customers always have somebody to turn to. Our warranty is best in class, is standard, and the reputation, it has been earned, right? Our NPS score is extremely high. And the same reason we do not sell direct to consumers. We don't sell direct to installers, right? We love GreenTech. We know that they bring a real value to the table, that distribution is not easy, and it's so much more than just schlepping a product onto your truck. Thanks for coming to our bay. Get out of here, right? It's a complete service experience. That's how they differentiate. We are trying to do the same thing, right? Again, we're trying to prop up all the bar stools of the industry. So just want to let you guys know our direction, what we're trying to do here before we really dig into this product and tell you why it's so badass. So we have our aGate. We also have our aPower, but I'm going to pass this mic over to Doug and let him talk a little bit about what we've been doing with this innovative product.
Great. And definitely many thanks to the installer community for all the growth we've had over the past couple of years. So the real secret sauce of the product are both the aGate, which is the controller, and the aPower battery, which is an AC coupled battery. And the aGate is really what differentiates us from the competition. We have the energy management system all within this box. We have the PV connection points, your grid and your generator, and your smart load circuits, which are optional, but they are housed within this box. So trying to make the solution as turnkey as possible, trying to make your job easier, less field assembly, less potential points for field assembly error, and in general, just get you guys back home quicker. And then, at the end of the day, when you're done pulling wires, last thing you want to do is commission a system for, potentially 4 hours or 6 hours, or maybe even as low as 2 hours on a good day. Here, we'll get you back home and on your way within 15 minutes. That's pretty conservative time too. Most people that have done a couple systems are actually get this commissioned within 10 minutes. We have both 208 volt and 240 volt split phase for residential and small commercial. So we'll get into the 208 volt feature in a couple slides. And a single aGate supports up to 15 aPower batteries. So if you want to go high capacity, you have potentially a larger home or a small commercial application, you can definitely support that with aGate. And then AC coupled for fast installation. You guys are all familiar with, you have your process, you have, your potential MLPE for your string inverters or your microinverters and your string inverters. And, drop in the battery and call it a day once you're done. No difficult DC wiring sizing calculations. Time of use, self-consumption, and energy emergency backup modes address all markets throughout the country, from either Hawaii with the various special battery bonus, or the NEM Plus, or the California markets with the NEM 3.0, or anywhere else in the country where you're on emergency backup or self-consumption too. Cool. All right, here popping the hood of the aGate, give you an understanding of how simply the product is laid out and how easy the connections are. I had the luxury of witnessing a couple of our competitors' installations, a month or two ago, and this is definitely a lot simpler. Really just L1 and L2. That's all you got to worry about. You have your grid entrance in the bottom center, your optional generator module in the bottom right, and then your CTs and your ATS are pre-installed from the factory. You have your, it is seamless switchover speed. Our R&D team, as Justin mentioned, comes from the data center world. So you are getting that highly reliable, highly seamless transfer speed. And the joke is that we often get service calls from the homeowners asking why they're getting the smartphone message about, you had an outage, you have to conserve power, but what happened? Your smartphone app is wrong. There's no power outage. I'm still sitting here watching TV. Fix your app. That's actually not the case. They did have an outage. We go look on the back end, and it really was seamless transfer speed. So very proud of that little feature there. You have your PV and your battery CTs and your metering there too. Going over to the next slide, we have the EMS up top. That's where all the brains of the system are. That's where you make your Cat5 Ethernet hardwire connections from your aGate to your aPower. We have a lot of, we all know that making data cables is not the easiest job in the world. We pre-include data cables for you to use that have been tested. So really trying to make this as turnkey as possible. Working our way down, you have your PV circuit, your battery circuit for your aPowers, and then also your optional load management circuits. So we have a 50 amp and an 80 amp 2-pole circuit there, and that'll really help with your stretch the battery when you go into an off-grid scenario for your EV chargers or your AC systems or your pool pumps. So you can have access to your AC system or your larger loads for most of the time, and then set a battery state of charge percentage driven time period to turn off, to perform load shedding and turn off AC and preserve power to your lights and fridge. Those AC systems use about 75% of your daily energy consumption anyway. So once you get rid of that and you get down to your 20%, your 30%, anywhere you choose, it's kind of like a low power mode for your home, preserving power to your critical lights and fridge. You have your backup lugs and your optional backup breaker in the bottom left corner, and then your non-backed up lugs on exterior to that too. So a lot of options for connection points. They're really easy to access. They all use Eaton breakers or various types of Eaton breakers. So one person had a question about are you able to configure the system for both time of use and peak shaving simultaneously? Yes. So our our energy management system does optimize to make sure the battery is fully charged when you're going into peak periods for time of use, and then it'll discharge to meet your loads and make sure that you don't rack up a huge bill during that extremely expensive peak period typically from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll get into that actually at the very end of the webinar. So these products all qualify for the 30% energy storage ITC, the federal ITC. There are additional local incentives, but I don't want to speak to that because you should probably speak to your accountant. They are not American made at the moment, but we are strongly investigating that. Our largest partners such as Sonova are pushing us for that, and we expect to have that within the very near future. You should expect some announcements very shortly. aPower is the battery. It's the all-in-one battery. You have your battery cells, your battery inverter, and your battery management system within the one box. The joke is that it is 395 pounds. It is a single piece and it is heavy, but once you get it into position, it is really easy to wire up with your L1 and L2. Huge wiring compartment, so you can get your hands with gloves on in there and connect the Wagos and home run those conduits. So it's not really pretty simple. CAN communications, we use Cat5 data cables to connect the aPower back to the EMS and to multiple aPowers so that everything runs seamlessly. Then the system has a 13.6 kilowatt hour usable storage capacity. In reality, this is a 14.5 kilowatt hour storage capacity, and it's oversized for 3 reasons. Number one is to be able to hit that generous 12-year 43 megawatt hour throughput, which is more than our competitors, substantially more. And then you also have the ability to black start. So those you can bring black start capabilities to your IQ6s and 7s or your SolarEdge or Xantrex SMA whatever. As Justin likes to joke, we play nicely with others, and that's the mark we get on the report card by bringing Blackstar capability to all your retrofit PV systems.
The joke
And then
actually is
number
that
3
we
is
work better
100%.
with. Yeah. Also, I was gonna say the joke is we work better with
What's
Enphase
that?
than Enphase. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Whether it's an M250
fair
or an
enough.
IQ7, doesn't matter. Yeah.
And then the last one is 100% depth of discharge on that 13.6. There's no fine print on that. Next up is 5 kW continuous output with the 10 kW peak for 10 seconds. And you do have 118 amp LRA capacity. So you can start up a 4-ton AC unit if nothing else is working in the home. Want to have that caveat there. Obviously, you should work with your homeowners to establish realistic backup expectations. Actually, someone has a question about the aGate and the backup capability on the previous slide. So the aGate has a 200 amp capacity, and let's pop back to that actually. So aGate has a 200 amp capacity, and if you have a 400 amp service, you can parallel 2 aGates together. That's basically the standard for us or any other system out there. We do really well with 100 amp services. So I know in a lot of localities, 100 amp service means that you can only connect up to 3.8 kW PV or up to, and that prohibits you from getting a heat pump or an EV charger or something because you surpass the 100 amps pretty quickly if you're using Section 220 load calcs. With this aGate, we have the PCS functionality. So with NEC 2020, section 705.13, we have the power control system functionality that's been certified and listed with California CEC and UL so that you can avoid the main panel upgrade and save your customer money and get that installation done quickly too. So you're not stuck in the utility line for months at a time. Then the customer kind of forgets that they have this big expense or loan that they signed up for. All right, popping back over to the aPower. One thing to remember is that each aPower supports up to 7.6 kW of PV AC input for off-grid operation. So, you can't connect a SolarEdge 11.4 string inverter to one aPower. That's probably not going to work. It will work, however, if you have that SolarEdge 11.4 string inverter connected to 2 aPowers. And we'll get into some of those examples when in a couple slides. And yes, the PCS does apply retroactively to older units. The PV inverter is just like a following mechanism. It's a grid following mechanism, and that energy management system that we have in our aGate will manage the PCS so that the PV is balanced with the home loads, and those CTs that are built in monitor the currents within the system to make sure they always stay within safe limits, or else it'll start opening up the relays once the current gets close to the limit, and it'll power down the system progressively too. So it'll turn off the PV first, see if the home loads are still drawing a lot, and then it'll disconnect some of the home loads with those smart circuits, then shut everything down if you still an overcurrent condition still persists. So really multiple levels of safety there, and really making sure that your customer gets the most out of their energy management experience. So we do not have FreeQuad. We actually are able to, I don't know about guarantee, but we're definitely compatible with all PV inverters out there. We haven't come across a PV inverter that isn't compatible with aGate, and we've installed these with a huge variety of PV inverters. So we use a relay to turn the PV off when it is off grid and it's overproducing. Home loads are low, say someone's not home or they're just like charging their cell phone, watching TV, and the battery's full. That really only applies to an off-grid condition.
Yeah, Doug, is it okay if I jump in here real quick? So one of the things that we really I loved about Franklin was the analog nature of it. Typically, if I'm going into a storm, right, and time is of the essence or is important to me, do I want to take in an Apple Watch or do I take a Rolex, right, or just a Citizen, whatever it is, right? Like, I want to make sure that the hardware is robust enough to handle the conditions, and I want it to work regardless, right, of the battery condition or the tech. Like, so from our side of things, we've created this really fast moving, simple ATS that knows there's certain settings, right, for the system that it's going to go to, rather than play that software game and mess with frequency shifting, which is the cause of a lot of your truck rolls.
So one person actually had a really good question about the compatibility, speaking to, I guess, the analog and the compatible with basically everything. Can you connect a hybrid inverter, regardless of the brand, to the aGate PV input? And the answer is yes. So whether it's a DA or a Solarc or a Fortress or a Solar Edge with the LG battery, I know there are a lot of those out there still. You can connect that to the PV's input. We have a lot of examples that or installations in the field with that type of setup, because somebody had old hybrid inverter and they want more power capacity, or they want something more reliable too. So it just on the app, it looks like the sun is out for a longer period of time. That's all it is. And so it really keeping it simple. That's the way we make sure it works. Okay, you guys are all familiar with the AC and ladies out there too. Everybody's familiar with AC coupling. Um, we have the grid forming battery inverter to allow grid following on the PV inverter to power on while you're off grid. This brings off grid capabilities to any PV inverter and black start capabilities to any PV inverter. It is a huge bummer when you have a multi-day outage and someone leaves the air conditioning too low overnight and your battery dies and you're not able to restart it the next day because you're still off grid. Well, that's not the case with Franklin. We do bring the black start capability. Like we were speaking about earlier, we have approximately a 1 kilowatt hour power reserve so that we can make sure that the battery inverter can be powered on to form the grid and bring the PV back online to support your home loads, so that you don't have to call up your installer and have them come out with a generator to jumpstart the battery. That is not a great situation to be in after a hurricane or a multi-day outage. Okay, great retrofit PV option, string or micro are okay. And in places like the desert, Arizona or whatnot, you really need AC and you want your system to have a high level of redundancy, because without that AC, things are going to get pretty scary pretty quick. And the modular structure of the systems allows for stackable power output, or you can even add a generator or like a wind turbine. It's up to you. And this is future-proof scalability. So the hardware is super robust. We have that 280 amp bus bar within the aGate, so you can connect a lot of PV, a lot of batteries. But that also means that the system that you sell and install tomorrow will be compatible with vehicle to home chargers when they become a thing in the next 2 years or 5 years. This product is warranted for 12 years. 12 years is a long time. We don't even know what's going to happen within the next 5 years. So from a hardware standpoint, we want to have a lot of spare capacity to make sure that your customers are going to remain satisfied and remain repeat customers for you as installers as that new technology develops and comes down the pipeline. And one more item, we are enrolling with more and more BPP and demand response providers. So in the era of high interest rates, things are more expensive. You can get more money out of the system, or the homeowner can get more money out of the system, makes it an easier sell. Beauty of AC coupling is a lot of stackability. That is a power increase with each additional aPower. You can check out the chart at the bottom. The KWs go up, and same thing with the KWH. And then you see that after 8 aPowers, you kind of hit a ceiling. That ceiling is supplying 160 amps on a 200 amp service. So if you do have 8 aPowers, you probably have at least a 400 or 600 amp service. and that's not a problem. You can have multiple aGates with maybe 2 or 3 aPowers each, unless you want to do like welding off grid or something crazy like that, in which case that's fine too. Yes, we do work better with Generac than Generac. We'll get into that in a couple of slides here. Schematically, it's really simple. You have your PV, your AC disconnect plugging into the PV breaker, and then your aPower is connected there too. Up to 7.6 kW PV with a single aPower, please. 3-line diagram, equally simple to the schematic. And same thing with AC coupling. You have your larger PV system, maybe you're in the southeast, and you have multiple aPowers. You're ready to ride through that next hurricane without an issue. 3-line diagram does stay simple. And so one thing I want to note is that we really differentiate ourselves by having a lot of examples and a lot of service, and we do design review. So if you want to send if you're thinking about the Franklin system and you want to send an example single line diagram or plan set, or you have any general questions about the system, happy to help you. Just email engineering@franklinwh.com. It's really simple, engineering@franklinwh.com, and we'll make sure to get back with you in a very timely manner so that you can have these examples and basically any other support materials. All right, that's it for the overview. I'm sure you guys have a very strong understanding of the system at this point, and getting into some of our features that really differentiate ourselves. And one thing that we found a lot of interest is the 208-volt solution. The 208 really applies to the multifamily situation or a small commercial backup. It's a growing market. You have more and more people living in multifamily houses, whether that's going to be a condo or some sort of apartment, and it's a growing market too. So what this means is it's not a three-phase system. You do get backup. It is split phase on 2 legs out of that three-phase system. That's going to be L1 and L2, or L2 and L3, or L1 and L3. So that is what we mean by 208-volt split phase. It is registered. If you're in the California market, we do qualify for the Title 24 credits. So you can use this to offset some of the other stuff when you're doing your energy balance calculation. And it is a residential product. It is both micro and string inverter compatible because you have lower output, or maybe not lower output, but it is definitely tested for a 3-ton AC, potentially 4-ton. We could definitely speak more about that in the future. But if you have a multifamily house, you're probably going to be using a 3-ton anyway. And you can stack up to 4, and it is JA12 certified.
It's kind of like Tesla said, single point of repair. we can start a 4-ton AC unit, but we can only run it for 10 seconds with a single aPower. So yeah, you'll get a nice little blast of cold air before it shuts off.
Okay, so I realize I have a typo in here where I left the generator module heading in there, so please disregard that. I don't want to cause any confusion. But one thing to note is that most 208-volt commercial storage requirements are under 50 kWh, so this is a great solution. You could have a larger 208-volt facility, maybe like a warehouse or something, but then you have a small sub panel built out to support your IT loads or your office, and that's basically the stuff you want to back up anyway, because you have your printers, your servers, your modems, and then you can connect it in a variety of configurations. Maybe you only want to qualify for the energy storage credits. You can install it really simply as grid tied with time of use operation without PV connected, or you can connect it for backup with time of use operation, and then PV is not connected, or you can do the same above and connect the PV. Yeah, there is small commercial VPP available. It depends on what state you're in. I mean, if you're in California, you can participate in DSGS, ELRP, any of the above. Transfer time is less than 15 milliseconds. So that is less than 1 AC cycle. So you're going to get the seamless transfer speed. We did have um, a joke earlier about how the homeowner calls us because they get the message from their smartphone app, but they didn't notice the outage. We do have a white paper about the PCS functionality available too. Cool. And there is a retrofit option that the California market is new to. This is previously launched in Hawaii, and in Hawaii it's known as NEM Plus. Here in California, we might call this NEM 2 Plus. The CALSA team California Solar and Storage Association has done a lot of legwork with the 3 utilities to be able to add a zero export PCS controlled subpanel with new loads and new PV without to a customer with existing NEM 2.0 system. So as you guys might be aware, California is a pretty crazy place with the utilities having a lot more power than they're supposed to have. And they really like to attack people's net metering contracts whenever possible. And so the utilities have been generous and working with CALSA, and now we have the ability to add more load and more PV to an existing net metering contract without losing that net metering contract. This is called NEM 2 Plus or NEM Multiple Tariff. And we have a variety of ways getting into the different configurations. And so basically, this is the schematic from CALSA. You have your non-export with the PCS. So you have your PV and ESS and your aGate with your PCS response time less than 2 seconds. And so it's like this PV and the load doesn't exist to the utility. You make sure you stay under your existing PV limits there, and your existing PV does what it does, and it's earning you money with the NEM2. And the one thing to note, though, is that the legacy PV system is not included with the backup circuit of the Franklin Home Power. So the other configuration option is to meter the existing PV and have that match the new loads with the new PV. So we can definitely get into this. We have this on our PCS document, and we're definitely willing to would like to share this with you so that we don't get lost in the weeds in this call, because this is a national call. Another item that appeals to basically everybody is generator integration. We found that this is a lot more popular than we expected, and it's because the Franklin motto is keep it simple, and we're connect with basically any household generator that's 240 volts, 60 hertz, and as long as that generator is in a reasonable load, you don't connect 7 kW to 4 kW generator, then you're going to stay within a balanced system there. So when the Franklin Home Power is off grid, the generator may serve as a backup power source. This is typically during a period when there is no PV available to serve the home loads and the battery's state of charge trends downwards. You can set the state of charge to various levels as a lower limit. Then when you hit that lower limit of potentially 20% or 30%, the generator is turned on by the EMS. The PV is completely disconnected because by the way, the PV is probably going to be off anyway if your battery is that low. And your PV is disconnected, the generator turns on, generator serves the home loads first. Home loads are served under any condition. That's why you have that's why your customer has invested all this money for the PV, the battery, and the generator. They want their home loads served, so the generator serves the home loads first. With the extra capacity, as the generator ramps up and down, then the spare capacity is used to charge the batteries. We just hold the generator at a constant run duty. And then we're compatible with portable generators or stationary generators. It is very popular to connect a NEMA 1430 or NEMA 1450 plug to the generator port on the Franklin aGate so that you can utilize a portable generator, because that's usually the most affordable generator option. And your homeowner might have one already. Okay, here are some great photos. We can work with both portable, large, or small generators. You can see on the leftmost photo, this is the typical Kohler 15 kW generator. In the middle photo and on the left photo, we have some photos of a 120 kW Cummins generator connected there. So a lot of flexibility if you want to be off-grid or just regular belt and suspenders approach with the generator.
Yeah, that system on the
Justin,
right
do you have
is
something to say?
off-grid. Yeah, I was just gonna say that system on the right is off-grid, correct?
Yeah, that's out by Bakersfield. And
Yeah.
so the PGE, the money-making machine that they are, was about to charge a homeowner $120,000 to bring power to their home. A homeowner decided to spend the money on PV, batteries, and a generator instead.
So cool.
And bringing that all of the above approach to the generator integration. Obviously, two-wired contact is going to be the most simple, but we also have a lot of utility voltage and ATSs out there. We can integrate with those just fine. I know a lot of existing generators have existing ATSs, and nobody wants to touch that ATS so that the homeowner or the installer doesn't inherit that workmanship warranty. We are fully integratable with that existing ATS. You just got to pull up the wiring diagram and make sure you connect the L1s to the L1s and the L2s to the L2s. Same thing with the voltage taps. We have a lot of documentation on this on the Franklin website already. And then, so generators typically run at about 60% or 70% of the nameplate capacity. Just note that each aPower will charge at about 5 kW. It's a swing load or swing source used to stabilize the home microgrid. And as a sizing guideline, we recommend that you use about 10 kW generator nameplate output per aPower. And if you get into a larger system, you might want to ramp that back to 7.5 kW generator. And you can have multiple aGates sharing a common generator. So if you have a 400 or 600 amp service, you get a 30 kW or a 60 kW generator, you can have that split between multiple aGates. So you do get a full belts and suspenders approach. And last but not least, we want to speak about the value that Franklin brings to post-NEM markets with time of use tariffs. So what does that mean? That means that utilities are getting more aggressive, or some state legislators are definitely drinking the Kool-Aid and assuming that the solar is causing the problems for their state grid, and then they're removing the net metering in their state. And we all know that that's not a great place to be. But such as life, the battery and the technology is really maturing and can really meet that challenge pretty quickly. The Franklin battery, with the really big capacity in terms of the warranty for 12 years and that 43 megawatt hour throughput, is bringing the most net present value to a homeowner relative to any of the top 4 battery manufacturers. For comparison, Franklin has 43 megawatt hours with 12 years. Tesla has 38 megawatt hours with 10 years. And SolarEdge has about 30 megawatt hours. And Enphase 5P has about 21 megawatt hours. So it is substantially more capacity, and it is bringing a lot more value to the homeowner. If you do the financial calculation, because homeowners think in dollars and cents rather than kW and kWh, and you discount the value of that avoided energy cost from that 12-year warranty to the present day using a pretty conservative 5% discount rate. That's not encountering the recent inflation and utility rate hikes. The Franklin system gives you about $5,200 enhancement to a home's net present value. That has gotten even better in the past year as utilities have announced even more rate hikes. And so it's becoming a better and better deal for the homeowner. We also did find that time of use only batteries do not provide as much net present value as their name implies. It is pretty crazy that, that it's time of use, but it doesn't really work that great in time of use because it doesn't have enough capacity. And, summarizing our the points made above, warranty duration and energy throughput are more impactful than expected on a battery's ability to defer peak period loads from the utility. You can see how Franklin stacks up to our competitors below, and there's a smaller capacity battery for number 2, that's brand 1. Brand 2 has a medium capacity string inverter, and brand 3 is a AC coupled larger capacity battery that actually does have pretty good net present value because of that larger capacity. They recently updated their model to a 3rd generation product. We need to update this slide to match that new 3rd generation information. So, backup means different things to different people. Did you want to say something, Justin?
No, you're segueing nicely. Go ahead. I'll jump in after.
Okay, cool. Yeah, backup means different things to different people. So, that could be a regular person's refrigerator or freezer full of stuff, or like a wealthy person's wine collection. So we did not include that in this financial analysis. It's simply the amount of power that you can avoid pulling from the utility during peak periods.
Right. Exactly. So
right.
Doug, let me collaborate on that. So the big thing, guys, here is we see splits, right, in the way that batteries are designed. In California, everybody got really happy with doing these time of use batteries that don't provide backup, until those customers all experienced outages the last couple months, right? The reality is that when we sell solar, we sell batteries, we sell energy freedom. Like that's the end game here, right? Is we're offering that level of control. With Franklin, whether it's the generator, whether it's solar, whether it's somebody on a dribble wheel or your electric vehicle, there's a bunch of different ways to power the system and manage it. I want to tell you guys a story in California where PG&E actually, a customer turned off his main breaker because he built an off-grid system. PG&E actually 2 weeks later came out to the property with sheriff's department saying, "You need to turn on your main breaker, sir." And he was like, "Okay, right, fine." He turns it on, and then they walked away, and he turned into the Franklin app and hit the off-grid button, which actually, rather than shutting off the connection at the main panel, which, as we come to find out, your utility manages, hits that off-grid button, we can kill the relay to the grid at the aGate, which the utility does not own and manage, right? So it's kind of like changing the locks on an X. Like once you press that button, they have no involvement, right? And this is the kind of energy freedom we want to offer customers. Like, what is that value to your clients to be able to say, you know what? No, I got a great weather week. I'm pressing the off-grid button. My utility could take a hike. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there. Oh, by the way, PG&E couldn't come out and make him go back on grid. So there's a lot of power there. And certainly worth the investment, right, of taking that infrastructure and putting that aGate in and replacing the service entrance, right, with something that the customer owns and manages themselves.
Absolutely. That energy independence. So the system is off-grid out of the box, and you don't need any more hardware. And there are many Franklin off-grid systems. While that's probably only like 1% of actual installations, there are a lot of options there. Future-proof investment, really robust hardware that we're talking about, and that potential vehicle to home charger that comes out within the next 2 years is going to be fully compatible with your system that you sell and install tomorrow. Cool. That should be it for the Oh, one more item. Getting into the math of how much an average home actually uses during peak periods. You can see that with a little bit of modest air conditioner. This is not a huge Arizona-sized 5-ton air conditioner. This is a regular 3-ton, plus a little bit of electric cooking and a electric water heater. Maybe someone's taking a shower after coming home from work during 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can see that the kWh adds up really quickly. And let's toss in another 2 kilowatt hours for charging the cell phones and laptops, watching some TV. You get really close to 13.8 kilowatt hours on a daily average anyway. And that's the Franklin math. That's probably what realistic life is going to be. And one other item to note is that the Berkeley National Laboratories, about 2 years ago at this point, released a report saying that the average American home uses about 30 kilowatt hours on a daily basis. So let's say that about half of that usage gets used during that peak period window when people are actually home. And that's a substantial amount of power that smaller capacity batteries just can't hold a candle to. All right, that should be it.
So we've got a few minutes. Congratulations, Doug, on actually nailing the time on this. I'm sure you guys have questions. We're going to put our information up in some resources in the chat. For those of us, we have RSMs, you guys, across the country. So servicing the Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, the South, the Pacific Northwest, as well as all of California. And so, South Dakota, we got somebody for you. And our service team loves to travel. So, the reality is, guys, is we are here to support you. And I can't say this enough. We want to prop up this industry to be successful and to make this transition into storage a good one. Because if we don't protect the consumer opinion, Lord knows what happens next, right? So Brandon Sanchez, just put it in the chat there. Brandon's our director of marketing, coordinates a lot of these things. He's an incredible asset. And all you got to do is ask him, can I get some partnership materials? We'll get a brand assets folder to you. You guys easily access all of the Franklin media and as well as the collateral there.
So one thing that is a good question, the battery,
Mark.
the aPower battery is 395 pounds. It is heavy, 395 pounds. But, I'm not the strongest guy in the world, but I can definitely move it around pretty easily on a hand cart or hand truck with inflatable tires. So if, maybe I'm more practiced in moving from apartment to apartment than other people, but, it's not that bad to move something pretty heavy with a hand truck with inflatable tires.
We do have a dolly coming into production, Nate, and we have some out in the market right now. Field, it's a screw drill operated chain drive, and super robust. And we're getting some feedback on that, and then we'll tweak it and we'll release that to the market probably late Q3. So yes, we will have a dolly coming. If you're looking to invest now, we're happy to help you on the back end, but the stair cats, those kind of things. If you're going to get a dolly, make sure it's your truck can handle the size, right? Because a lot of guys will order a dolly and then realize they can't strap it in their truck. B, make something that's right for the job, right? A normal hand truck's going to work on anything in a garage or coming off of concrete. But if it's muddy or you're going through gravel, you're going to want something more robust. So take that into consideration when picking your tool, but we will have a dolly for you in the next probably 4 months. And yeah, Mark, in relation to your demand question, I'm SRP. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And this was something that we actually didn't really bring the product to Arizona till we knew it would work with demand charges, because we know just how bad that can be if you don't do it the right way. So happy to support your customers in Arizona and have a deeper conversation if you need it. Yeah, so operating temps, Paul.
Great question.
Yeah, let's go there. So this is a 12-year warranty with no cycle limits, with an operating temperature of -4 to 122 degrees. We did actually, I believe we're removing fans likely on our next product because we can throw this thing in an oven and the cells weren't depreciating. So we're like, okay, this is good to know that at 137 degrees, this battery is working okay to the point where we can remove fans to remove items of failure. So, but yeah, current published operating temperatures are -4 to 122.
It's a NEMA 3R cabinet.
And
there's actually, yep,
go ahead.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, go to YouTube, you guys. If you want a powerful tool, I want you to go to YouTube and Google FranklinWH Hurricane. Listen to Clyde's story, and you put that in your back pocket. You guys will be in good shape. Doug, I have to jump, but if you want to answer any more questions, we just want to say again to all of our installers, thank you guys so much. Doug, that was awesome. Appreciate you, buddy.
Definitely appreciate everybody in the audience today. Definitely thank you for your time.